Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you guys are looking forward to this because I've been looking forward to bringing this one for you. So I'm going to bring forth the preseason 2021 Mythic and Legendary Items preview. I'm only going to do it for top lane and Yorick because I'm sure you guys have been watching your favorite content creators already reveal all these things, but I'll give a few of my thoughts in. So we'll skip around most of them. I've been playing on PBE for a bit. I've been testing out all the items, and they're a lot of fun. Honestly, it's crazy to see how much damage is in the game right now. But I definitely think it's going to change everything. This entire game's going to be flipped on its head. And I'll show you a few items that are definitely in my little area of interest, that's for sure. As far as the Marksman ones go, we don't really use these. We can't really use them. I tried fiddling with the Kraken Slayer, but realistically, since it's based off you auto-attacking, it's not going to be useful. So don't waste your time with all the Marksman Mythics. Leave them to the AD carries. We're going to focus on either the tanks, the fighters, and the assassins. So, as for the tank mythics, they're primarily based around Sunfire Cape. They all give some form of Sunfire Cape to them. So, we didn't buy Sunfire before, so I can't see us really wanting it that much right now. If you look at Berserkers, Berserker is very similar to Righteous Glory. So, it gives you movement speed when running towards champions and enemy turrets, right? Now, it's a great item. Definitely not for us. It's 100% not for us. Out of all of them that I can think of potentially going, it would definitely be Frostfire Gauntlet. It looks okay. It doesn't look terrific. I definitely like the look of this more than the Sunfire. The damage is rather similar on the Immolate, but I definitely think I like this a bit better. It gives the extra health. It gives the size. If you're going to go tank one, you go this. Otherwise, the fighter ones are definitely in your key. So, for Jungle Yorick. Now, for Jungle Yorick, you've got to definitely go for the Assassin ones. I've had a look at the different types of fighter ones. Assassin looks like it's the best. So, for the Assassin items, you have three. Three? Yeah, three. So, you have your Dustblade. Makes you invisible if you get a kill. And it makes you do typical Dustblade stuff right now. It's good, but that's not what we want. What we want is this one. This number 2, Mr. Eclipse, right here. This is probably the most broken item I've ever seen in League of Legends. I'm not even exaggerating. Like, you can watch my stream clips. I'll even put a stream clip down below because this is insane. It's primarily because it gives you the effects of having lethality items. So, like Yomu's, basically. But instead, it gives you a phase rush, it gives you a Dustblade proc, and it gives you a Guardian Shield. It gives you, if you read that Moonstrike ability, it gives hitting a champion with 2 separate attacks or abilities within 1.5 seconds, deals bonus physical damage equal to 16% of their maximum health, grants you 30% movement speed, and 150 plus an AD scaling shield, right? And it's for 2 seconds. Note the cooldown on it. It's 6-second cooldowns. That's insane, right? This is just, if that's not blowing your mind already, I don't know what will. Now, I've tested this a lot. We can't proc it with a single E. So, I thought maybe we could, but it doesn't look like it works. A single E, they jump. It hasn't worked for me in the past. What has worked for me, though, is there's the Conqueror bug still in the game. If you don't know what that is, basically, if you raise a Mistwalker at a different time that another one's raised, then they share different times, yeah? So if you run Conqueror, for example, if you raise 4 ghouls with your Q, because there's 4 graves around, they'll all share the same timer. You'll get 1 stack per 5 seconds whenever they attack. But if the Maiden raises 4 ghouls in the top lane, just off the minion wave, you don't press your Q, you don't reactivate anything, then all of a sudden, every single one of those ghouls has a different Conqueror timer. So if they all attack at once, you get 8 stacks instead of the 2. I said 1 before I meant. And that's insane. Now, that works for all the ability runes. So things like Phase Rush and Electrocute. Now, that works for all those as well. If you have 3 different ghouls that are on 3 different timers, they'll activate Phase Rush if they all attack at once. And it appears that that's the exact same way Eclipse works. If you have 2 different ghouls that are on different timers and 2 different intervals, then they will activate this rune, this item, sorry, the second they attack, which is insane. You can burst people ridiculously hard. And to make things better, the Mythic passive is that it makes all your other legendary items give armor penetration in the number of 5%. So if you think of your standard build, you'll have 1 Mythic item. You didn't know you can only buy 1. Then you have 4 legendary items. then you have boots. So that'll be your full build. You won't be having anything else. So that means you get 20% armor penetration from this item alone. So that's pretty good once at full build, of course. As for this last one, I wouldn't waste your time. I don't think it's that great. Not for us, at least. AP Mythics. Look, if we had a mana, AP, mana, scaling, whatever it was, I'd definitely say look into Leandry's. I've been fiddling around with Leandry's in the past. Look, it's a lot of fun. It's definitely anti-tank. But until we get AP ratios, don't waste your time. Especially considering it gives mana and not health now. It's kind of squishy as hell. So don't waste your time with it. We'll skip past all these ones because they're not worth it. This is where the top Yorick comes in, okay? So, you top Yorick players, this is what you guys are going to watch. You could run that Eclipse before if you want, but primarily people that run Trinity Force will want to try Trinity Force again. The Trinity Force has been turned into a mythic item. And what they've done is they've effectively removed the mana from it. And they've made it so that it gives slightly less attack speed. I think the old one gave 40. Might be wrong there. It gives more AD. But they've given it a new passive. So it doesn't give movement speed anymore when you attack. It doesn't give movement speed anymore as a passive either. So there's no more 5% movement speed. Instead, what happens is if you attack, you get movement speed from when you attack. But it's only champions. Don't read what it says here. It's a lie. It's only champions. And it's 25%. And it stacks up to 5 times only the damage part. So this works in conjunction with this. But like I said, it's only champions, and you need to stay in combat with champions to keep it up. If you hit a champion once, and then hit a minion, it'll drop down, okay? At least, I'm pretty sure. I'm 90% sure. But, since this does stack up 6 times, that means it goes 30% increased base damage. That means this will turn into 260% base damage. So, look, it's nice. The mythic passive is it gives all your items 15% attack speed. That's nice as well. I have a big attack speed fetish, so normally I'd be all over this item. Sadly, I tried it. It feels like hot garbage. I don't know why, because it should feel better, but it does not feel good for me. I honestly cannot. I didn't like it one bit. I tried it one game, and it didn't have the oomph. Usually Yorick, when he hits with his Q, you really hit. You really feel that power. But dude, I was hitting minions and I felt like I was weak. I don't know why. I had more items than ever and I felt like I was weak hitting minions. It's crazy. The real items that you're gonna want to go for is Gore Drinker. Ignore Stride Breaker because it's a waste of time. I don't think it's good. And Divine Devourer. These two, Gore Drinker and Divine Devourer, are gonna be your cookie cutter Yorick. Pick it. It's amazing. Okay. Now Gore Drinker is slightly overtuned. It's basically, if you haven't got the memo yet, anything that has sustain in the item is overtuned as hell right now. So, Gore Drinker right now, it gives quite a lot of stats out of something like a Phage would. It gives you health, it gives you AD. It also gives you ability haste. If you don't know what ability haste is, it's basically the new cooldown reduction. It's not necessarily 1-to-1 with CDR. 10 ability haste is like 9% CDR, but the more you get ability haste, the less effective it is. So like 80 ability haste ends up being like 35, 40% CDR. So you do have to get quite a lot to actually make up for the difference. It does give you your base regeneration. I didn't really mind that too much. It's not that big of a deal. The real reason you buy this is these two. So you can see it has an active effect. It's quite a big circle as well. It's kind of like Riven, a bit bigger than Riven Riven W. Basically it deals percentage of your attack damage. So 110% of your total. So not bonus. So that's good. In a circle, and you heal a flat amount of your AD. It's at 1/5. But you heal 12% of your missing health for every champion you hit. So if you're in the middle of 5, you heal 60%. That's of your missing health. That's pretty nuts. And that's affected by ability haste. So if you have 50% ability haste, which will be around about 30% CDR, that number will go down all the way to 10 seconds instead. So you can use it once every 10 seconds. That's pretty nice, around about 10 seconds. The aggression is quite good as well. So you gain 1% increased attack damage for every 5% of your missing health. So if you have, let's say, 200 AD, right? Hoping my math is right here. And you can get a maximum of 15% extra on top of what you have already. So if you get to 75% reduced health, so aka 25% health left of your health bar, then what that basically means is you have 215, I think. So you get 15 AD out of it, right? It does add up. I think that's right. my math right there? Oh, sorry, I'm going to jank this up and just going to quickly do this here. You have 200 AD and you times that by 2.15. That's not right. I did not do that right. 200 times 1.15. 230 AD. Okay, I was sort of close. All right, so 230 AD you get out of it. So you get an extra 30 AD. If you have 400 AD, that goes all the way up to 60. So 460. Look, it's a nice extra amount of item, an extra amount of like AD that you get from it. You also get ability haste and attack damage from the mythic passive. So look, it's good. It's busted on certain champions. I've versed a friggin' Aatrox that had this, and he just wouldn't die. He activated that bloody passive so many times, I couldn't do anything. He just sustained his way through. Speaking of Aatrox, he used another item against me, which I think is probably one of the biggest, most broken items I've ever brought as well, which is this. Divine Devourer. So, these are pretty expensive items. Now, this one classifies the anti-tank. I don't know why this is called an anti-tank item, because they should just call it a sustain item, because that's what it is. Basically, it gives you good amount of AD, good amount of health, great amount of ability haste. So 25 is a solid amount, right? And then it has Spellblade. After using an ability, your next attack deals bonus physical damage equal to 6% of your max health. Okay, so 6% has a minimum of 150% base attack damage. Okay. Now, when Spellblade hits a champion, you also heal for 60% of that damage amount. So let's throw some numbers your way here, right? So if we get our trusty calculator again, let's say you have 3,000 health and you, take that up again, and 6% of 3,000 health is 180 damage, okay? That means that you will deal an extra 180 damage from the Spellblade alone. Now that's not terrific when you think about it. Like, it's a lot of damage, but it's not that great. Like, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. The real key to this is that it treats the entire attack as the healing. Okay? At least I'm pretty sure it does. If it doesn't, and I'm wrong, please correct me. Yeah, but I versed this Aatrox that bloody hit me, and he healed for a shitload of damage, dude. He healed for like 400 health at a time. I'm not 100% sure if it treats the whole damage, or if it's just the Spellblade effect. If it does the whole attack, that's busted beyond belief. If it's just a Spellblade effect, it's pretty strong still. 4,000 health isn't unrealistic to get to. Oh my god, I hit 4. And that's 240 damage extra. So that's not bad. If it's 60% of that you're healing for, then you're healing for 144 health. And now that's on a 1.5 second cooldown. So that's pretty nice. But I do think that's outshined by your Gore Drinker. Primarily because the Gore Drinker, you can use it once every 10 seconds, and it has the ability to heal missing health. So let's say, for example, you have 1,000 health left out of 3,000. So you're effectively at 33% health. That means you're missing around about 67% of your max health. So if you're missing 2,000 health, then you heal for 12% of that. 240. Now that's off one champion. If you hit multiple champions, you're doing 240 times how many champions you hit. You can see it starts to outshine it. Now, especially if you hit multiple people with it. Now, I think they're going to be interchangeable. I think you could probably try both. Take what I say with a grain of salt. I haven't tried Top Yorick that much. I've tried a few games of it, but do your own testing. I definitely think there's a lot to work with here. The real ones I want to talk about as well are the other items. So these are your legendary items. So your legendary items is everything from Black Cleaver to Death's Dance. All of them have been changed. None of them are the same. Most of them have had entire redos. They've had extra stats put on, whatever it is. So these are your items that will have the extra, whatever the Mythic puts onto it, okay? So the ones to look out for here, are you going to be looking out for Force of Nature for one. It's a new item that's been brought back since Season 1, Season 2 when it went away. Now, when you take an ability damage, you gain movement speed and magic resistance for 5 seconds, and it stacks 5 times. So that's really cool. It basically gives a lot of MR, gives a lot of health, gives a lot of movement speed, and it's quite cheap. So this is a good MR item, especially considering they removed Adaptive Helm, right? Now, this is a nice item against shields. Can't really see a time where we buy it. The first item I want to get to is your boy Cyrilda's Grudge, my personal favorite item that they've brought out. Even more than Eclipse, because this is basically Rylays combined with Last Whisper. It is so good. It is so much fun to use. Yes, your ghouls slow for 30% for 1 second when they attack. Yes, they benefit from 30% armor penetration. Yep, that's 20% ability haze, and that's 50 AD. This item is so good. It lets you solo kill with ghouls. It lets you split push. It lets you take towers so fast, dude. It is such a good item. You'll be buying this every game, I can promise you. It is such a good item, 100%. As for the rest of them, we got a nice anti-Mordekaiser item here. I don't really think it's going to be that good. This one here is mainly a support. It's supposed to go this if they need Grievous Wounds. Grievous Wounds there's been a few different items added. I'll point out a few of them on the way. These are awards, so they don't matter. Here's your updated ones. Okay, so got things like your Lord Doms. We previously used to go this if you were versing something that didn't have sustain but was very tanky. Now we're probably not going to go into this because we go into a lot of items already that give a lot of health. We're not going to make use of this. Effectively, we're not going to make use of this. If you're going to go into something that gives you armor penetration, just get whatever that lady's sword was. Yeah, the Zerilda's Grudge. Get this instead. It's so much better. The slow is going to be stupidly useful for you. Out of the other items, you're not really going to use much here. Spirit Visage is your next best. So, Spirit Visage increases all healing by 25% and shielding. So, it covers shielding as well. Now, it gives you a good amount of magic resistance, a good amount of health. Okay ability haste. Remember, it's not 1-to-1 anymore, so it's not that great, but it's still pretty cheap. So, it's pretty good, right? Frozen Heart now reduces your damage taken by a flat amount, and it caps at a certain amount. I can't imagine going this. It's nice, but I don't think I'll go into this. Even with a Mirror Mana build, I can't see it. Randuin's is quite good still into anything that has crit, so definitely look to go into this if you're versing something that has crit. It specifically has an active design to counter critical strike, so quite good there. And it also reduces attack damage as well. That's really solid. Now, Titanic Hydra is the first legendary item that is probably going to be a new one into our build. Primarily because Riot came out and said that they were going to add a whole bunch of items that were dedicated to split push. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I went through this whole thing and I didn't see one. This is the only one that I saw that actually works for Yorick in a split push. Trinity Force, the base damage increase doesn't stack on towers. At least not from what I've seen. Only Titanic Hydra has a specific addition to its item that actually lets it work against towers. Which is this. Cleave damage works on towers. So, the damage you deal extra when you attack now works on towers as well. Now, I'm not sure if that's if you have to hit the tower specifically, or if you can attack a minion in front of the tower. I'm not sure. I presume you would have to hit the tower, but I could be wrong. That'd be hilarious if you could hit the entire minion wave and hit the tower at the same time. That's awesome. But yeah, you also get bonus attack damage based on your health. So this will work really, really well with that mythical item. That, bloody hell, trying to remember all these names is going to be a nightmare. Gore Drinker, Mr. Gore Drinker over here. So you gain attack damage here, you'll gain attack damage there. So there starts to be a lot of interaction between these different items. It looks really good. I'm really happy with it. There's also Ravenous Hydra. Now, there's been a sudden surge of Ravenous Hydra fans on Reddit. I know that. Personally, I think you guys are wasting time. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. It does work on physical vamp, also applies to true damage now as well. But you guys don't build true damage anyway, so I don't think this is going to be a very big item pickup for us. I wouldn't waste your time. Keep in mind that Titanic loses the active component. So you can't click it again to then reset your auto, which kind of sucks. I don't even know if this makes up for the loss of the active, because that was quite a good active effect. It was a lot better than people give it credit for. I've even seen Fiora mains complaining that Ravenous Hydra has lost the active effect. I remember they used to give a Conqueror stack as well, so big sucky there. Now, Black Cleaver. Hallelujah, Black Cleaver was buffed. Now, Black Cleaver was buffed in a really weird way. What they did is they gave it the same AD, they reduced the health a little bit, they gave it a little bit more CDR, but what they did is they made it so that when you attack an enemy that has been fully shredded, i.e. has max stacks of Cleaver Shred, 24% armor shred, you deal 5% of the missing health. Now, I've tested this extensively. It has a flat 0.5% cooldown. It can't be reduced any further than that. It does not apply by ghouls. As of this video right now, it does not apply on ghouls. It is strictly Yorick's autos and his E. That's it. Doesn't apply by anything else. There's a lot of inconsistency in these items, because for some reason, what marks as an ability and attack here will not mark as an ability and attack somewhere else. Now, Maiden doesn't apply this. Later when we get to Mirror Mana, you guys are going to find out some interesting ideas there. So, Sterix Gauge is the next one in line. Now, it builds out a Phage now. So, Phage is a bit different. Whenever you attack with Sterix Gauge and you deal physical damage, you get health back. That is on Phage as well. So, whenever you deal physical damage in lane, you get... Who followed me when I'm not streaming? Go the Fishio. Thanks for your follow, dude. Anyway, so if you deal physical damage with the Phage, you'll get a little bit of health back. So, it is good in lane if you're looking for trades. But that I'm really looking for. Like, I'm super looking forward to that. Now, Sterix Gauge doesn't scale off your base level anymore. So, it gives flat 50 AD. That is good. That is really good. It means we can buy it earlier. Before, people would wait until there were 2-3 items in to buy this. You could get this first item if you really wanted to now. Now, keep in mind as well that the Lifeline passive can't be combined with more of Malmortius for one. But it also is a bit different now. It doesn't have a specific health that you need to lose. It's roughly 30% of your health that you have to drop below, okay? Now, it's based on how many stacks of Rage you have. So Rage is basically the passive that you have, where if you deal damage against a physical damage against a champion, you get a stack of Rage. It works and refreshes per person you hit, okay? Good for us if we don't hit RE in a team fight, so it's a big buff for me, because if your ghouls are spread out attacking multiple champions, then you're getting a lot of Rage stacks, which means you're going to get a massive shield. I personally think Sterix Gauge is in a good position. I think it'll be a very good item. Certainly better than next on the list, Mr. Death Dance, who has suffered a massive loss. We're going to get some Fs in chat for this one, because he is so far behind here now. Unfortunately, he took a bit of a whopping nerf. He lost 400 gold, which is good, but no longer resistance against both types. He's only against armor now. Gives 15% ability haste. And they've sort of tweaked the way his physical damage reduction has worked. So instead of it being 30% damage reduce of everything, and you take it over 3 seconds instead, now it's only physical damage. Now note there's no lifesteal in this item anymore. Before there was Omnivamp, you could heal off it, off magic damage, physical damage, and true damage. Now instead, it relies on you getting a takedown, which then removes that damage that you were supposed to take, that goes, and instead you heal for 20% of your total health. So they kind of taken the rune Triumph, and they've put it in this item. And you can take Triumph as well if you really wanted to. But this is a good item if you're looking to get, if you can guarantee solo kills, or if you can guarantee a kill in a fight, it starts to add up. 20% health plus Triumph, 12%, is not anything to laugh about. That's 30% health you get back instantly. But if you can't get that kill, or you can't get that takedown, or more importantly, you're against a magic-based team, this is going to do nothing for you. This is going to be absolutely worthless. As for the other items, Wit's End, Blade of the Ruined King, let's not even bother. Blade of the Ruined King got a nice little nerf, but then it got a nice little buff. I wouldn't waste your time anyway. The next item we're going to talk about, Mortal Reminder. So, this was our go-to whenever they had healing. We would buy this. Unfortunately, it gives Critical Strike now. So, this is no longer an option for us. We are not going to be buying this. Critical Strike on Yorick does not work. No Baron, it does not work. Not happening. Thornmail is probably your next best. So Thornmail gives you your Grievous Wounds back to other champions that attack you. But it also gives you Grievous Wounds to champions you immobilize. Now, if you've ever tried to run Aftershock Yorick, you'll know it is probably Einstein levels of IQ to be able to immobilize someone. You basically have to hit your wall, the rim of your wall, on their champion's model, so they knock back, which counts as an immobilization effect. So I'm pretty sure there's one more, but this will be a solid item if you're versing something with healing that likes to attack you, and it is physical damage based. So maybe like an Aatrox, maybe like a Riven if he goes for Death Dance. It'll still work out that way because you'll get the healing afterwards if he kills your teammates. Let's talk about Manamune. So Manamune got a few changes. So now Tear is a starting item. It costs around about 350 gold, or it's 400, I can't remember. And it stacks in a really weird way. Now you have to hit 450 gold, 450 mana, not 750. But it stacks 3 at a time, and it only stores 2 charges. Before it was stacks 4 at a time, and stores 3 charges, okay? The primary difference is Tear of the Goddess can only be stacked off abilities that have an effect on a champion. So, Yorick Q does not have an effect on a champion. It's considered an auto attack. It's not a spell. Therefore, it won't stack Tear. But Yorick E, which damages a champion, will stack your Tear. Okay? So, if you get this first item as Yorick, you're going to have probably 60 stacks by the end of laning phase. It is useless. Don't waste your time. Manamune, on the other hand, is quite spicy. Manamune is interesting because right now, as of this video, the Maiden is bugged. Another friggin' bug to add to the list. Maiden, for some reason, stacks Mirror Mana. I don't know why. She stacks it. She doesn't apply Mirror Mana, but she stacks the Manamune. So if you drop your Maiden bot lane and she pushes that wave, you will get stacks every single time she autos as long as there's a cooldown available. But that's really interesting. We tested it in my game. She does not proc Mirror Mana, nor do the ghouls. So unfortunately, I was really looking forward to it. I thought we had worked out this fucking massive, sick-ass thing. Unfortunately, I don't think she does. At least, I'm pretty sure she doesn't. Might still. It was really hard to tell. People were blowing up in 1 second anyway. But yeah, very hard to tell. But honestly, might be an idea. I don't think so, though. It would be worth to revisit. Might be a good, especially since the jungle item's been removed. So here are your removed items, okay? Now, important ones to point out is for you Jungle Yorick fans, is your jungle items. Now, Warrior Enchantment, Cinderhulk, Runic Echoes, and Devourer have all been gone. They are no longer in the game. Instead, your jungle item is a slight different one. You have your Doran's Forge Heart. Now, both of these, the Doran's Forge Heart and the Doran's Hail Seed, they both replicate the Hunter's Talisman. Not Machete, Talisman. Notice that they have the damage burn, okay? Now, it looks like they don't do much damage here. I can promise you and assure you the base damage of these is the exact same as Hunter's Talisman, okay? It is 60 DPS level 1 over 5 seconds. 5 seconds, that's about it. Now, note that there is no Hunter's Machete. Now, Hunter's Machete's auto attack, dealing the extra bonus damage, I think it's 35 damage per auto, that is no longer in the game. So, when you get this item, it will be as akin as if you're starting a Talisman, which is good for us because we've been starting Talisman for the past 6 months now. After smiting, casting your smite 5 times, this item will upgrade your smite into whichever one you chose. So basically, Doran's Forge Heart upgrade your smite into Challenging Smite, aka Red Smite. Doran's Hail Seed upgrade your smite into Chilling Smite, aka Blue Smite, right? You choose it at the start of the game, you don't get to adapt as you play. So if you want Red Smite, you go Red Smite. If you go Blue Smite, you go Blue Smite. After you smited 5 times, it upgrades automatically. Your next available smite will be able to use Challenging Smite or Blue Smite. Now, here's where it gets interesting, because I don't know why it's happened, and don't tell Riot, don't send this video to Riot, but for some reason, Red Smite is bugged. Red Smite considers Mistwalkers and Maiden of the Mists auto attacks as auto attacks. So, what that means is if you cast your E in Red Smite, every single time your ghouls auto attack, they are applying that true damage. I don't know why, but it happens. Your guess is as good as mine. No idea why. Now, the important thing I forgot to mention is after you cast Smite 5 times, it doesn't just upgrade your Smite, it consumes the item. And consume basically means that the item is no longer in your inventory, but you keep the stats. So you will still keep the burn, you will still keep the smite, you'll still keep the bonus gold, and the bonus experience. It's bonus experience, isn't it? Yeah, bonus experience. But you won't have that item slot occupied by the jungle item anymore. Instead, you can go 6 items now. Before we had to go jungle item plus 5, then we'd end up selling the jungle item as a very last item in like 50-minute games. Now, you can go 6 items. You can start investing your gold into items that actually matter, into your mythic items now. You can get that ridiculous Eclipse item and start one-shotting people as soon as you can. And that's probably the best change out of everything here. Now, there's a few downsides, things that aren't listed here that I'll go over, just because I might as well, is that the jungle items have, the jungle camps have received armor and MR. Now, the way the camps are being rebalanced is that they, instead of having like the red buff has reduced armor and the blue buff has reduced magic resistance, they all have the same thing. On the plus side, we can still do our blue into wolves into either Gromp and run. That works fine. And if you run a double adaptive, you can still do the raptors level 3 either red and run. It still solos both the camps. Okay, so there is a little bit of wiggle room there. The jungle camps are ridiculously fast, by the way. Like they got extra like 60 to 80 movement speed. They will kill you. Luckily for Yorick, we have probably one of the healthiest clears in the game. The jungle nerfs were not a nerf to us. I can promise you, I've done probably 8 jungle games already. It feels fucking amazing still. It is slightly slower. I think I timed a 6-second overall clear speed loss. So it's not terrible. Considering other champions are going to be in the position where they can't gank anymore, it's good for us. Really, really good for us. So yeah, I hope you guys like that one. I'm going to release a whole bunch of... I'm going to be playing... As soon as I finish this video, I'm going to be playing a whole bunch of games. I'm going to record them. Pop them on YouTube for you. I don't expect... Let's just say, off the grapevine, I've heard that don't expect Eclipse to go to live the way it is. It's definitely going to get nerfed because it's absolutely ridiculous. I literally one-shot a Rengar from full health. It's insane. But, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you want any other information. Let me know if you want me to test some items out, test some runes out. Before I forget, let me quickly show you the new runes as well. Sorry, I'm a moron. I should have showed you the new runes. So they swapped out because Transcendence has been CDR-based. We now have Transcendence giving ultimate ability haste level 5 and level 8. At level 11, on champion takedowns, it reduces the remaining cooldown of your basic abilities by 20%. I don't think this is good. Personally, I don't think it's good. We're not going to use level 11 ability. It's just basically 10% ability haste. That's it. And because it's got diminishing returns, I think look elsewhere. This is a brand new rune. Brand new legend. It is sick. It is so good. 20% armor penetration and magic penetration. Now, note it is bonus, so it's not base. But if they invest into a hell of a lot of armor, and bear in mind, there's a lot of mythics right now that give a lot of resistance. This is going to be key. I definitely think the domination tree, the precision tree is very, very strong right now. And the resolve tree is going to be very, very strong. I'm expecting some kind of page like this. This is an interesting one as well. They changed presence of mind. Now when you damage an enemy champion, you get mana regen. So all those times where we raise 4 ghouls, chucked our E out, it damaged them, you will be getting mana regen every single time your ghouls attack. That is really good. That is sick. I fully expect this to be a top rune page. It gives you the ability to go aggressive. It gives you good scaling. And I'd probably, if it were me, I'd probably pair it with Demolish and either Conditioning or something like that. And I'd take whatever runes you want. I think that'll be a really solid page. If you're Jungle Yorick though, I wouldn't waste your time with that. Let's go Triumph. Keep the Destroyer. And what we'll do instead is we'll go into Cosmic Insight. The Cosmic Insight got changed. Now it gives 15% Summoner Spell Haste. That is a lot. That's not a small amount. It used to be 5% Summoner Spell cooldown. Now it's 15, which will roughly translate to 13 to 14% cooldown on your smite. That is so good. That is super, super, super good. It also gives 10% item haste. Now, it doesn't give flat ability haste anymore. So, it's purely for items and summoner spells. I'm not sure how much I want to go into it. Now I think about it, I didn't realize it didn't give summoner spells until it did give standard ability haste until I just looked at it now. So, maybe not. Maybe with a Predator page. Does this still give item active? It does. Probably not worth it. And lastly, Ravenous Hunter got changed. It now gives Omnivamp at the maximum of 11%. So pretty good, pretty decent. It's reduced heavily on non-champions though, so I'm not too sure. We'll learn together anyway. Let me experiment and I'll let you guys know for sure what's to go. I'm extremely looking forward to this new preseason. Test it out on PB if you haven't already, because it is a lot of fun, I can promise you. Just get expected to get one shot by every single champion, and get expected to not have any idea what the fuck to build, because I have no idea. You're not going to have any idea. Trust me, just build Eclipse and you'll have the funnest day of your life. So, thanks for watching, boys, and I'll catch you in the next video.